All right. You all know why we're here and what we came to do this year. This is only the beginning of a very long season, but Game 1 means just as much as Game 82. Now, we have some new faces here that I really expect to make an impact for us this season. We've already seen flashes of what they can do for us, but I expect all of you to go out there and execute just like we did in camp. Ain't no more excuses. It's time to get serious. If we play our brand of basketball, there's no telling where this team can go. So get out there, get warm, and let's go win this game.
My first NBA game. Can't believe it's finally here. You work your entire life for something, and then when it's right in front of you, it's almost hard to believe. But I'm ready. And now it's time for me to show everybody I belong and do my best to represent Harlem.
Welcome, everybody, to the day we've all been looking forward to. The start of a new NBA season on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. It's all about the Eastern Conference. That's where the action is today as the Atlanta Hawks get ready to battle. And it's their first look at this year's Pistons here for the first game of the NBA's 82-game regular season. Last season, they had the upper hand in the series, going 3-1 against these guys.
And they didn't have much of a problem.
First official NBA appearance from Johnson.
Yeah, and whether he has friends and family in the crowd tonight or watching at home, I know a lot of people are proud of this young man. He's worked so hard to achieve this goal.
Yeah, and the future is bright for him, Greg. Not just tonight and not just this season, but for years to come.
The Pistons leading. Well, you have to love the energy and the effort given every night by Kent Bazemore, hustling for loose balls. Greg, a lot like you, actually. Runs the floor like a tornado, can handle the ball, the consummate role player.
He really is. And you know, you can have to have guys who can be effective without the basketball, Kevin. There's only one out there, right, and you're going to have 5 guys, so you need other areas of the game to be effective. And he focuses on the defense, the rebounding, all those little things that add up to victories.
My ball.
And now let's have a look at the teams that were last year's best from the free throw line. Number 5, the Hawks.
Collectively, I mean, they had an amazing year at the free throw line. Sometimes free throw shooting can be contagious, and it seemed like everyone on their team had the hot hand.
And, you know, going back to Kent Bazemore, he was not a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Was solid and unspectacular in college. Entered the NBA as an undrafted free agent. Exceeded everybody's expectations.
Johnson left side. Right side, Scott. And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense.
And getting back to Kent Bazemore, I mean, he will always have a role in this league because of his defense and his positive attitude. He's the kind of guy who gets counted out early, then goes on to have a legitimate 10-year NBA career.
And it's tied up with that one. Well, you just watched Jeff Teague. He's a natural scorer. Clark, he's also made steady improvement as a playmaker.
Yeah, you look at his assist rate, Kevin, well in the top 10 in the league. He's cut down on his turnovers as well. You can tell he's starting to really figure it out, and the game is slowing down for him.
Clock at 4. Here's Johnson. Atlanta again missing. And Detroit has possession. Johnson dishes to Blake. Morris a screen. Blake with it, and it's Johnson picking him up. Blake kicks to Meeks. Here's Morris. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Morris has got his first 2 points of the night.
Where's the box out? Some easy second chance opportunities there.
Those kinds of mistakes drive me crazy and will absolutely derail a team's chance to win. They are really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
And watch, Clark, how the game plays out, because this is going to open things up on the perimeter.
And Baines kicks to Pipe. Here's Meeks. Scott pulls it in.
And no excuse there for missing that one after being freed up by a great pick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they came away empty, but they got the look they wanted, and really, I like the movement and communication.
Both teams have it going here early and still close through the first quarter. Hawks lead by 2. And we'll be back shortly for the start of the second quarter. Well, earlier we sat down with Freak and asked him about playing in his first NBA game.
You know, I've thought about this moment my entire life. Now that it's finally here, the feeling's pretty crazy. But I know it's just the beginning. I got a lot of hard work ahead of me to get to where I want to go, to be the best player and the best teammate I could be. But this is an exciting first step, no doubt.
You know, Clark, you don't see that kind of perspective from most rookies, do you?
You really don't, Kevin. I mean, I really like his approach to the game. What remains to be seen, though, is will that translate to consistent production on the court.
And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. And for the Hawks guys, what stands out to you stats-wise?
Really, it's always a positive when you can get some impact off your bench.
Always nice to have firepower coming from the reserves, and they've had firepower and then some so far.
And we're through the first half of basketball here, and what's been a good one. The Pistons on top. They lead by 3. And join us right back here after the break for the start of the second half.
And now,
okay, guys, let's focus and get down to business. Now, here's a few things I took away from the first half. A nice chunk of our offense in the first half came from the low post. And one thing that should definitely do for us in the third quarter is open things up on the perimeter. We should have a lot of room to operate outside. The guys I will give credit to are the guys who came off the bench and gave us the scoring pop we needed. And let me touch on tempo for a second. We're not out to use the whole shot clock, but I would like to see us get set up offensively. We know we're up against a tough team tonight. Let's show them we're just as tough.
and now your Atlanta Hawks.
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball.
No slowing him down. Just incredible numbers for Jackson. He's got 11 points and 2 blocks. He's a one-man wrecking crew out there.
Truly, they have no answer for him at all.
The Hawks trail by 3.
The Hawks were fantastic.
Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. There's a good screen. Cephalosha with the steal. He feeds it to Johnson. Fires the 3. And the basket good. Johnson scores his first basket here in the NBA, the beginning to hopefully a long and prosperous career. They lost the last 3 games of the regular season, Clark, and really just limped into the playoffs. Some of it might have just been fatigue.
Yeah, it could have been, and their play at the end of the season did leak into the playoffs, Kevin. I mean, you could see very quickly that they weren't the same team that looked so dominant during the regular season.
And here we see the debut of Freak, the kid from Harlem. His first time on an NBA floor, and Clark, it's a moment that he's worked very hard to achieve, and his family has got to be proud.
Extremely so, Kevin. It's been a long journey for him, but every level along the way, he's found success. High school phenom, playing for a college championship. I wouldn't bet against this kid on anything when it comes to basketball.
Well, with Freak, Clark, there was a question whether he would stay another year in college. Really was a tough decision for him, but he ended up coming out after his freshman year.
And, Kevin, it's really hard to blame a guy like Freak for doing that. I mean, he's clearly NBA ready. And he's putting a lot at risk for every year he stays in school when he could be on the NBA clock. Andre Drummond is a big guy. At the NBA Draft Combine, he measured 7 feet tall with a 7'7" wingspan. And he tipped the scales at 280 pounds. That's a super heavyweight, my friends.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Splitter's checked in for Horford. Scott comes in for Paul Millsap. Kent Bazemore's checked in for Cephalosha. And it's Teague in for Kirk Heinrich. Teague, the pass to Bazemore. Kicks it to Scott. And there's the feed to Johnson. Now the dish to Splitter. It's stolen by Morris. And now the fast break. Meeks with the ball. Shoots from 14. Jackson misses. And on the topic of Andre Drummond, Greg, there are a few guys in the league who combine his kind of size with the type of athleticism he possesses. Fast up and down the floor, quick off his feet, even sports a little hang time. I mean, the guy's got a full package athletically.
You talked about the raw physical tools. When you factor in the 2 things as a big that I really value, great hands and quick feet, and he's got that going for him. So you can't go through him, you can't go around him, and you certainly can't go over him. I mean, what's left?
We can only hope to contain him, as they say. Fast break, the Hawks. Outs one up, and so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. Well, last season, the Pistons didn't reach the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season. They're making progress, but as we can all see, still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you know, they were spoiled for a while there. How about going to the playoffs for 1996 to 2009? So it's been a rough stretch here of late. But you get the feeling that the building blocks are in place for another push.
And I bet most people forget that the Pistons did make the playoffs for 8 straight years before this current drought. It's been a long rebuild process for them recently, but I think they're making progress and moving in the right direction.
Here's what Detroit's going with right now. Johnson comes in for Andre Drummond, and Steve Blake is subbed in for Reggie Jackson.
And for the Pistons, they seem to have a direction and plan now that just wasn't the case before. It won't be easy to get back into the postseason, but I really feel like they are on the right path.
Shot clock at 6. Morris dishes to Blake to stop the run, and that one's good.
Stevie Wayne.
59 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. Outside Teague. Scott to Bazemore. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
And Kent Bazemore, the long-armed lefty out of Old Dominion, where he was the Division I Defensive Player of the Year back in 2011. A 5-year senior. He graduated with 2 degrees, one in criminal justice, the other in human service.
And Bazemore grew up in a small town, Kelford, North Carolina. Clark, less than 300 people.
And a very tight-knit community, as you might expect, Kevin. His uncle owned the local diner, and you see that in his demeanor. Very social, a humble guy. He's really a nice...
17 seconds left in the 4th quarter. On the floor for Detroit, we've got Marcus Morris. Jackson is out there with Jody Meeks. Then there's Andre Drummond, and it's Harris in at the small forward. And it's sent back by Drummond. Here's Jackson. And so Atlanta takes this one by a big margin, some good competition, but the hometown advantage and their ability to stay focused, I think, Clark, made the difference.
Well, you know, at this stage, you've got to defend your home floor, and they did that.
And that'll do it for the first game of the NBA season. For Clark Kellogg, Craig Anthony, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our entire 2K sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. And standing by for the post-game show, let's head over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports post-game show.
Hi again, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson, joined by Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. Time now to present our Jordan Player of the Game. Al Horford. The fourth quarter was all him. It was like he couldn't miss, and it was just one basket after another.
Just a sensational performance on a lot of levels, Ernie. Too many levels to talk about. Man, in some game, he's in the background. He doesn't get the chance to be the star of the show, but not tonight. He's the star tonight. Put him on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, Al Horford put in some serious work bringing home this win tonight. He's always been the definition of a great two-way player, and when you've got a big man who's that versatile, it's a huge boost for your ball club.
And that's it for our broadcast here tonight. But we're just getting started on a new season in the NBA. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. We'll see you again soon.
Coming home. New York City, baby. I'll be honest, I'm pretty excited. Mama, Pops, and Cece, yeah, they're gonna be there. Playing in front of them in the NBA uniform for the first time is gonna be a special moment for me. Now, I know all of Harlem's gonna be watching. No pressure, right? It's all good, though. I've been waiting for this my entire life. And I'll be ready.
From New York at the home of the Knicks, it's the NBA. The New York Knicks come into this one after a win against the Bucks in Milwaukee. It was just a textbook performance. That game was all there. Once they got it going, it was full speed ahead.
And they ran their offense nearly to perfection in that one. Very few possessions were wasted.
Yeah, they put the mute button on them that time. I mean, in front of a hostile crowd, they never let the fans get going. They silenced them over and over again with big, timely shots.
So Atlanta will get the first possession. A look at Atlanta's opening lineup. Atlanta leading by 4. Clark, one thing about the Hawks last year is they were very strong on the road, as you could have guessed.
Yeah, but Kevin, they struggled a little bit down the stretch on the road, but still managed to have the best road record in the East.
Now here's Teague. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Here's Splitter, and it's blocked by O'Quinn.
Well, you have to like their work on the boards, Kevin. Particularly
really playing with a lot of energy here at the start.
Let's send it out to Doris Burke, who caught up with head coach Kurt Rambis.
We talked about the keys to this game, and he singled out Paul Millsap as a player they've simply got to be mindful of. Coach told me he's always been an energy guy, someone you have to locate and box out every possession. But he's developed his offensive game to the point where he's more than just a hustle guy. He's also a scoring threat now, and a guy we can't...
Sometimes be the case when you're trying to learn the triangle offense, or seem to attack the rim at all.
The Hawks making a switch here. Bazemore's checked in.
They're last in the league per game as a team. So they struggled shooting when they did attack the rim, only 42%. So those areas have to improve if this team wants to become competitive.
Now here's Roten. 14 points from him the last game against Milwaukee. And Thomas, here we go. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Well, we've got a moment here now, Kevin, to look back to last year's Knicks. 8th in free throw shooting, 14th in blocks. And they were in the top half of the league shooting the ball from deep. Average to pedestrian, but still fairly effective from there.
And you look at their free throw percentage, not to be overlooked. I mean, this was a team, I thought, that did a really good job of taking advantage of their opportunities.
Free throw good, Thomas. Knicks last season had a lot of problems here in Manhattan, and it showed all over the floor, Greg. And you played for this team. You know what it's like to play basketball in New York. Not a good record.
On here and playing in front of a sold-out crowd every night. And one thing about New York, they're going to let you know when they're displeased. Worst home record in the East and second worst home record in the league.
Now here's Johnson. Schroeder kicks to Johnson. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. Splitter, that's good.
And just a step ahead of the D in that there, making the pass. Nice assist.
And, you know, for the Knicks, there were a lot of reasons why they were bad at home. Bottom 5 in field goal percentage against at home, field goal defense, and third worst field goal percentage at home in the league.
And you know, commend the Knicks faithful. They still would sell this place out, and you have to give a shout out to the fans. Through what was a very difficult year. At least it has to get better.
So he picks up just 1 from the line that time. Well, guys, what a nice surprise Tony Roten was last season, especially effective taking over at the point, Clark, with Michael Carter-Williams gone.
Yeah, Roten put up a career-high 5 assists per game and really worked hard at the defensive end as well. He's one of the few talents on the Sixers roster that hadn't been traded away. Most of the time, that shot will go down. Well, the defenders have to make sure they tag it.
And it's good off the back rim and in. Here's Roten. There's the pick. 1 second left, and released it in time, but it's off the mark. And that concludes the first quarter of play. Hawks lead by 7. The second quarter coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere. And a chance to hear from former number 2 overall pick Derek Williams about his focus offensively. Two huge improvements for him. Greg, can he do more?
Definitely. He's already taken a big leap forward, and there's plenty more room for him to grow. He could become a real beast in this league.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And what do you guys think about the Hawks here in this one?
Just the way they've been able to pound that backboard. I think that's been the difference.
The establishment of a good low post presence, a big part of the success.
Anthony out there with Porzingis. Then it's Tony Roten. Then there's Robin Lopez. And it's Calderon in at the 1. They're the group New York will start the second game.
It doesn't really matter who starts the break with how he runs the floor. He seems to always be the one who finishes it.
Yeah, he is so fun to watch, and how he attacks the rim at full speed like that, man. It's something to behold, the way that guy gets to the rim. Boy, I tell you what, he loves getting looks like that from the three-point line. No one near him. That's a warm-up jumper for him.
Pass to Porzingis. Lopez a screen. Porzingis passes to Carmelo. Not enough on that one as it misses.
Very dangerous to leave a guy like that open. Lucky break there for the D.
From deep, Johnson. Another miss by Johnson. Knicks trail by 6. Anthony kicks to Roten. Second quarter, we're a little over a minute and a half in. Lopez sets a screen for Calderon. Can't make good off the screen.
Good little two-man action there, but they just can't get the shot to fall.
Yeah, but that was a beauty. Good-looking shot, well-executed play. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to it.
Now here's Millsap. Last game we saw him score 14. Shot clock at 6. Johnson against Calderon. Johnson missing again.
The mechanics totally out of whack right now. He's lost his feel for the shot.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, just totally out of sync. I mean, you can just see it in the numbers. Nothing going down for him right now. Boy, I tell you, last season was a big one for the Hawks and Coach Budenholzer. Their dominant season won him multiple Coach of the Month titles, and eventually he won the Coach of the Year award.
How about that one? Able to maintain control and finish the play.
Yeah, we call that playing through the whistle. You know, he didn't give up on it when he heard the whistle. He kept his focus, his concentration, and he found a way to get the shot up and down.
Jeff Teague, he's checked in for Johnson.
One shot.
It was pretty obvious, I thought, Greg, that Budenholzer was the deserved Coach of the Year. I mean, Steve Kerr, there were a lot of... It's a tie game in New York. And we'll be back right after halftime to get the third quarter underway.
Okay, guys, let's focus and get down to business. Now, here's a few things I took away from the first half. I'll say this. We kept a very tight handle on the basketball, and that's something I always like to see. The fewer turnovers, the better, obviously. Keep your heads on a swivel out there. I did like the scoring punch we got off the bench. That heated things up for us when we had to have a little something extra. Okay, one more thing. A smooth flow to the second half is just what we're looking for. Let's keep things moving, but not at some kind of breakneck pace. We know we're up against a tough team tonight. Let's show them we're just as tough.
Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far.
Well, Aaron Aflalo in this one, he has 8 points, and he's picked up 6 points from behind the arc.
I love the rhythm his outside stroke has produced today.
And so here is New York, and this matchup with the Hawks. It's their first meeting of the season.
Yeah, and these teams pretty familiar with one another. They'll face off 4 times this year.
And you know, Greg, both would love to get the upper hand early.
A little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the third. Now Calderon. He has 5. Anthony dishes to Calderon. Anthony drives in. No stopping him there. Jams it in as he's fouled. Chance now for a 3-point play. That one on Horford.
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run, don't you think? Clark to the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
Carmelo Anthony, the 3rd pick overall in the 2003 NBA draft, was in some pretty good company at the top of that one, as I recall.
I mean, you had LeBron going 1, and of course, Darko Milicic was number 2 on that list. But how about D-Wade at 4? A little bit of a surprise, Chris Bosh. You know, all those guys, with the exception of Melo, have rings.
Knicks trail by 3. They set the pick. To the left wing. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And the Knicks good for 2.
I mean, he was great in his last game, Clark, and clearly he has not lost that love and feel.
Schroeder kicks to Korver. Passes it to Horford. He dishes it to Johnson. Outside Korver. He's looking for Horford and finds him. And good. He got the English that time as it falls. Horford's got 4 points now in the quarter. For New York, they've gone 4 of 9 from the floor so far in the third. Calderon passes to Aflalo. New York moving it around. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Wow, they've made every free throw here in the second half.
And that efficiency, Greg, as you know, so critical when you're looking to overcome a deficit. You've got to be close to perfect and can't waste scoring opportunities.
First free throw is good. Certainly the biggest surprise last year, Clark was the player of the Atlanta Hawks. Few would have picked them to win the East at the start of the season.
Well, they did it, and they earned it. The Hawks didn't have any superstars on their roster, but they won with solid team play.
Catching up on the changes for New York. Williams comes in for Anthony, and Roten subbed in for Aaron Aflalo. Here's Scott. It's hauled in by Jose Calderon.
Well, he won't miss many of those, especially with the defender not in the best of positions there.
For the lead, Bazemore grabs the miss.
And for the Hawks, they did end up with 4 All-Stars last season. And as you said, it was all about how they worked together as a team.
Thomas goes in. Roten with it, picked up by Teague. Calderon in the corner. And he misses the go-ahead basket. For Atlanta, they've gone at a pretty good shooting pace. They're 6 of 13 from the field here in the third.
And, you know, around the NBA, the league recognized the Hawks were a complete team. Everybody played their roles superbly. The NBA named all 5 of their starters the player of the week last year in an unprecedented move.
Good, and the assist goes to Thomas. Calderon's got 7.
Not phased at all by having a bigger defender on him down low, and I really thought he would be.
You know, at first glance, you wouldn't think that he'd be comfortable in that particular situation, but, well, I tell you what, he didn't look like he was out of his element at all right there.
Kicks it to Thomas. Not watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation. Lopez is checked in for New York. Kyle O'Quinn comes in for Thomas. Dishes to Splitter. The pass to Johnson. Charity stripe shot. No good off the front iron. Knicks trail by 4. Here's Roten. Rebound Atlanta. Teague's got 4 rebounds now tonight.
It just hasn't been a very good day for him, guys. They need him to start burying some of those.
Johnson, a wide open look. Good on the three-point shot. Johnson's got the lead up to 7 now for Atlanta.
And they clearly are just destroying this group right now from the three-point line.
Yeah, and the defense knows it. I mean, they are fully stretched out trying to stop the three-point shot and still haven't been able to do it.
And a great show through 3 quarters. As we enter the 4th, who will carry the day? The Hawks on top. They're up by 5. And thanks for joining us again as the 4th quarter of play is set to get rolling. It's been a close battle to this point. Atlanta leading by 5. Tony Roten out there with a foul. Then it's Anthony. There's 18 seconds left in the 4th. And now we've got the intentional foul.
You have to foul, but I'm sure they would have liked to foul someone different.
Yeah, but Greg, they didn't really have another option. I mean, I thought they did a nice job getting it in his hands and making sure he was the guy who'd go to the line.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's an 8-point game. Here is Calderon on its way from a Flalo for 2. The offensive rebound. Lopez kicks to a Flalo. Pass to Porzingis. The second chance effort. The kick out to a Flalo. Fires the 3. Off the mark. And so the Hawks take the win. They came in here and took care of business like they were the home team.
And Kevin, how about the mental toughness that this group showed? They were never rattled at all by the opposing fans.
And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, Clark Kellogg, and the rest of our...
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Kevin, much appreciated, and now let's present our Jordan player of the game, Al Horford, with a strong double-double, points and rebounds. He was a force that was not going to be denied with his efforts both on offense and defense.
His accuracy from the field was pretty eye-catching. I mean, if he was shooting the ball, it was going in. You rarely see a performance like this with this crazy high shooting percentage. Wow.
He was on his game tonight from an offensive standpoint, whether it was scoring the basketball or distributing it. He gave the defense all sorts of problems. I love seeing a player in that kind of offensive rhythm that he was in tonight. He commanded the situation at all times.
And that'll do it for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. Hope you enjoyed the show. From myself, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, have a wonderful evening.
What a life, eh, freak? 1 minute you're playing 21 and horse on the courts in Harlem, and the next moment you're in the showroom, configuring the gunmetal and graphite exterior of your luxury car and your iPad mini. Oh, I bet you get a crazy crowd when you drive that car around the block in the old neighborhood, huh?
Yeah, I'm living the dream. Mad pandemonium. But folks from back around the way are real proud of me.
Yeah, I hear you. Local kid makes good. You know, it kind of reminds me of when I took my tech stock public and I rang the New York Stock Exchange bell, and my mom's friends called her up and said, "Maggie, is that your son on Bloomberg News this morning ringing the bell?" And my mom says, "Yes, sirree, Bob, it was him." That was a great moment, freak. And you know, our lives are like a pearl necklace of great moments, all strung together with the finest silk thread of memories. And we have to be very careful how we cultivate those pearls and we thread that necklace.
Does this meeting by any chance have to do with Vic Van Leer?
I grew up in the burbs, freak. I wasn't poor, upper middle class, comfortable. My daddy worked as an accountant for one of the largest insurance firms in the country. Smart with his money. Mom didn't have to work. I went to boarding school. And then my dad died of a heart attack when I was a freshman at MIT. I was a movie geek, wanted to be a civil engineer, but I made my fortune by becoming a hybrid of both those interests. My dad didn't want me to be an accountant. Oh, listen to this. My best friend was a guy named Isidore. Yeah, we called him Izzy. He was one of the smartest human beings I have ever met in my life. I mean, Izzy was taking second-year college calculus courses as a high school sophomore, right? Straight-A student, full ride to MIT. Izzy had the world at his fingertips. But he was always looking for trouble, and trouble found him. He ran with the wrong crowd. And when we got to MIT, he got this great job working for a financial consulting firm in Boston. But every weekend, he would fly to Vegas. You see, Izzy had a system for counting cards in Vegas that had the big casinos on the Strip. Oh, it's stymied. He would come back to MIT with suitcases filled with $200,000 in cold cash.
What?
Yeah.
So your man Izzy was getting hit off like that?
Like a fat rat in a cheddar cheese factory, freak.
Okay, so what happened to this dude Izzy, because he's dope?
No, not dope. Dead. After he'd been missing for 3 weeks, the Nevada State Police never found hide nor hair of Isidore. And our friendship took a hit when he asked me to hang out with him in Vegas, and I said I wouldn't do it because I knew he was on a dark and twisted path in his life. And yes, he was my dude. But no way was I gonna throw my life away trying to show my loyalty to a guy who really and truly didn't understand what loyalty was all about.
So this meeting is about Vic.
Correctamente.
Okay, well, sir, Vic isn't Izzy.
And why's that, freak?
Well, for one thing, you and your dead friend Izzy didn't grow up poor. Me and Vic grew up in a neighborhood where we had to look over our shoulder every 2 seconds to make sure nobody was going to walk up on us and rob us.
True. Izzy and I did not grow up in the hood. But we, like you, thankfully grew up in a 2-parent household. But even that wasn't enough for Izzy. He wasn't satisfied. He was always looking for a 5-alarm fire when he already had the warmth and comfort of a loving family. This is not about class warfare, freak. This is about the consequences of making bad choices and risking it all when you feel like you have nothing to lose.
Vic is like a brother to me, sir.
But you shouldn't be Brother Vic's keeper, freak. Would a brother go looking for trouble and put your career and your livelihood at risk by getting into fights at nightclubs and seedy after-hour joints and then scream to the media, "Yeah, it's all good, I'm an FOF, friendo freak. It's all misunderstanding. Y'all be haters, don't hate my game." I don't think a brother would do that to someone they really cared about, but a guy who looked at you like a meal ticket would.
No. See, you don't understand Vic.
Really? I don't understand.
No.
Look, man, it was a misunderstanding with the guy in the next VIP booth. His honey started flirting with me, so naturally I started flirting back. Next thing I know, Captain Cornball's off my grill piece beefing. Next thing he know, he got a two-piece and a biscuit on his left eye. Hey, I don't know who hit him, and it damn sure wasn't me. Hey, Captain Cornball's mad because I'm an FOF, friend of freak. Hey, but check this out, though. He needs to train that hottie before he leave the house, though. Yo, he's hotties ain't loyal, man.
What's there to understand? Are you freaking blind? You know, I just want to know, how much did you pay your lawyers to make all this go away?
Almost $100,000.
Excuse me, son, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said I paid almost $100,000.
Exactly. And if you keep riding shotgun with Vic, you're gonna go broke. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Look, Vic is my friend, and I grew up with him. How many times I gotta tell you, sir?
Freak, this is not a request. I am not asking you to do this. I am telling you to do this. And the first order of business is that Mr. Vic Van Leer is banned from traveling with you on the road. Vic is banned from the locker room. And Vic is banned from this arena. And if I catch this guy, Vic, in or anywhere near the facilities, Mr. Vic Van Leer will be arrested for trespassing.
Are you serious, sir?
Brother, I'm as serious as cancer. We all know that can be deadly.
You know, when me and Vic were kids, playing summer tournaments at the Dome, we always imagined making it to the pros, right? And after the crowds left, just a street light was on the court, like 11:30, 12 midnight, even 1 in the morning sometimes. We used to practice player introductions, running on the court, giving dap, high-fiving the teammates. Vic, he would act as an announcer. You know, he would introduce me, announce my name on a loudspeaker, and the Jumbotron would flash my image like a little guy dressed in long shorts and a jersey. And now, fresh off his 3-game, 62-point scoring streak, the youngest player to ever do so in NBA history, Frequency Vibrations. So me and Vic would sit in those empty bleachers at the Dome and dream like nobody's business. And now I'm living a dream. For real. And in so many ways, Vic was part of that.
Please, listen to me. I mean, I know this guy's your dude from way back.
Look, me and Vic go way back like the front seats of a '67 Cadillac.
That's good. We go way back. Did you say front seats?
Front seats of a '67 Cadillac.
We go way back like the front seats of a '67 Cadillac. Well, Jiminy Crickets. I'm going to be the hit once again at Herbie Allen's Sun Valley Shindig because my fellow billionaires love it when I walk and talk that talk.
So that almost sounds...
No, let me tell you exactly what it sounds like. I respect, admire, and most importantly, love you as a human being and a role model. But I pay you a lot. And I mean, I pay you a lot of money to play for my team. And I am in this game to win it. And you can't win it with an albatross around your neck like Vic. So Vic is done. History. And here's some more lingo that I picked up from a former megastar who used to play for me several seasons ago. Thought I would never release him until I did. And now he's the sixth man on a struggling team in Venice. And yeah, I'm talking Venice with the canals and the gondolas and Harry's bar, not the street ballers next to the fortune tellers on the beach in Cali. This guy used to tell me when he thought there was a player destroying our team, don't be a hero, cut that zero. And that is what I am telling you about Vic, freak. Don't be a hero, cut that zero. The only thing Vic brings into your life is headache and unwanted and unnecessary negative attention, and it will begin to affect your mindset. And when it affects your mindset, it's going to affect your play. And when it affects your play, it's going to affect my team. And when it affects my team, it's going to affect my money. And if it affects my money, Google Translate will become your new freaking friend. I want a championship ring, freak, and I want you to help me get that ring. And banners after banners hanging from the rafters in this arena. So, freak, hear me clearly and hear me good. V, G, Vic, gotta go! Handle your business. And remember, that contract you signed contains a morality clause, a very important clause that revolves around your conduct on and off the court, and how it can negatively impact my team. Now, I don't want you to have to learn Italian or Croatian as a second language. And hey, playing pro ball overseas, there's nothing wrong with that. But the arenas are nothing like this, nor will the money be the same. And on top of all of that, this is the U.S. of A., the greatest freaking country in the world. Ask yourself, is Vic worth all that? Think about it. Think long, think wrong.
Tell you about Vic. He has his bad rap. It's not, and I understand some of his judgments might shadow his actual character. He's not that at all. Man, Vic, let me tell you something. We actually, we have love for each other. We're brothers. Blood couldn't make us any closer at all. I mean, he has so much loyalty to me and to my family. You can see even Cece, has issues with him, but he still loves her. He still loves her.